Hello, I'm House Minority Leader Patricia Morgan, and I'm sitting here today with President and CEO of the Rhode Island Trucking Association, Chris Maxwell. Hi,
Good
Chris.
morning. How are you, Pat?
Thank you for agreeing to talk with us.
Good to see you.
Chris, last week, the Rhode Island Department of Transportation held what seems to be a very rushed meeting at the State Traffic
Correct.
Commission. And the intention is to close to trucking or restrict trucks from 14 state highways.
Yep.
Were you involved in this decision at all? Did they come to you and ask for your input? Did you know this meeting was happening?
Much like the whole roadworks process for 2 years. There was no prior notice, no advance notice, no attempt to get our input on this action. So no, it came in the same fashion as everything else has for two and a half years.
What effect will this have on trucking? I mean, 90% of our goods, the goods that we buy at our stores and our grocery stores.
87% of our state's goods and services are moved by truck. So if you are attempting to jumpstart a sagging economy, the last thing you want to do is restrict commerce. So now we know we have truck tolls, and now we've actually put an exclamation point on the fact that Rhode Island is, in the commerce world, closed for business. There's no logical reason why trucks will come to this state if this sort of nonsense is to persist.
So, honestly, to me, and you know, I'm against tolls. I have been for a long,
Yes.
long time, and you and I have talked about this
We
in the
sure have.
past. But this appears to be harassment of trucking.
This is provocative. This really is unnecessary. It's an attempt, we believe. It's provocative in that it's once again a tactic to smear and vilify the trucking industry, safety, secondary road degradation, heavy trucks not paying our fair share. This is just yet another provocative and unnecessary tactic. It's also, in our estimation, it goes part and parcel with what we've said all along, which is roadworks does not work on paper from a revenue standpoint, and they're extremely concerned about the sagging revenues. So this is an attempt, obviously, to corral trucks that might attempt to divert around the interstate to keep them on the interstate. But it's going to be very tough to enforce this from a standpoint of local and state enforcement community. It's going to be tough, very subjective in terms of who they should be stopping. You know, again, if this plays out, you're going to basically be creating a police state on your own commerce and supply chain.
You know, we knew this was coming. I think we got an inkling
Yeah.
of it last year
Right.
because DOT was asking different town councils to pass ordinances
Correct.
to restrict trucks on their roads.
Correct.
My assumption is that the town ordinances weren't enough, and that's why they're asking the state, DOT is asking the State Traffic Commission
Correct.
to do it now.
Correct. Obviously, the Traffic Commission, you know, they're all working together on this situation. But yeah, the first sign of this was an attempt to restrict traffic on Quaker Lane last year. The town of West Warwick was
Route 2.
complaining about trucks going through neighborhoods, which is a far cry from a truck exiting 95 to Quaker Lane and delivering amongst a number of box stores and malls. I mean, Quaker Lane at Rhode Island at 95. You know, you start from
It's
car
all down
dealers
Route 2, yes.
to box stores such as Lowe's and Home Depot, and it gets more and more congested as you go all the way down to the malls with Walmart. So you think of that. Think of the ludicrous action of trying to stop trucks from using that, and furthermore, stopping trucks to ask them what their business is in that area.
And I guess the point that we should be making is, if there wasn't a toll law to begin with, if there wasn't toll gantries, it wouldn't be an issue.
Right. Well,
It wouldn't be an issue.
this-
They are absolutely doing this in order to herd trucks
Correct.
into gantries.
That's right. Right. So keep them
our
on
state-
the interstate, and again, what carrier?
It has nothing to do with safety, it has nothing to do with degradation
safety,
of roads.
Secondary road degradation. Remember something, the heaviest, if you're gonna talk about weights and heavy trucks, the heaviest trucks by Federal Highway Zone studies and statutes are single vehicle class 6 and 7 trucks.
One of my issues is that you're going to be using local law enforcement to
Right.
be traffic cops instead of protecting our neighborhoods. You're diverting
Correct.
local resources.
Right, and again, you're creating a police state for commerce. Let's play this out. A truck that jumps off Quaker Lane, gets pulled into Lowe's at the corner of Queeset Road. That's time, that's money, that's efficiency being wasted to find out what his business is. He actually is going to Walmart at the Rhode Island Mall. Maybe that stop turns into a level 1 compliance inspection. Well, let's check your license now. Basically, this is a real bad road to go down for the trucking industry, for commerce, for our state. So again, I go back to why would a trucking company that has many options choose to do business in Rhode Island? You're
Yeah.
going to fight tolls. You're going to fight. Congestion. You're going to fight basically an overreach by the state.
Yeah,
the
and
enforcement
subject
community.
yourself, like you say, to extra inspections
Right.
and
That's correct.
and
So-
harassment,
so it
just
becomes-
harassment
it
by
becomes
state authorities.
It becomes a no-fly zone for the industry.
So, what is your opinion about the legality, the constitutionality of restricting state roads?
Well, I think that.
Isn't that something
I
that
th- I
the
think that
American Trucking Association has been concerned about?
Well, they're certainly going to look at this. I think that they basically cannot deny access for bathroom breaks and lunch breaks and that. So again, it's going to be very difficult to enforce. It is pretty well crafted here. I'm sure that they have crafted it to stay within the legal boundaries. Again, legalities aside, this is just a very dangerous precedent, not only Rhode Island, but it sets one for the nation. But again, most states are looking at Rhode Island, and states like Indiana that are looking at interstate tolling are not even going on that third rail, which is truck-only tolling. Similarly speaking, they're going to look at Rhode Island and say, you're gonna not only toll trucks, but now you're going to try to keep them on the interstate and punish them if they attempt to go off the interstate, even if they have legal grounds and reason for being there. No business owner in the trucking industry or otherwise would subject their business to that sort of overreach and
And I guess what people who are listening need to know is when you harass the trucking association, when you give them fines, when you make them take extra time to deliver their goods, time is money for them, when you subject them to other licensing investigations or tax audits and stuff, all of that stuff translates into higher prices
Of course
in
it
the
does.
stores,
Of
in
course
their
it does.
grocery stores, in all of their retail stores, everywhere.
Listen, it's supply and demand. The less trucks that are coming to Rhode Island, the higher the price of the delivery. It's very
Yep,
simple.
they'll have to, they'll
Economics
charge a
101.
premium to come here.
That's correct, and they will.
And, obviously, I always have believed that they don't intend it just to be trucks.
No.
Which means additionally that they're going to use this police power to make sure cars stay on the interstate as well and go through their toll gantries at some point.
It sets up a whole unnecessary network. Again, let's go back to the original sin is, Rhode Island, RITA, it put us in this predicament. Diversion of funds over the years, of failed construction program, bad construction practices, bad inspection, bad oversight, and now they've pivoted for a very reckless plan to atone for their decades of malfeasance and ineptitude. So the original lies, the original plan continues to get worse. You teach your kids, once you lie, you have to keep lying. Well, RITA and the state continue to lie to the taxpayers of Rhode Island. And this is, again, another example of an egregious overreach, a reckless policy, and inevitably something that will stunt the growth of the state for decades and decades to come.
Okay, one of the things that I notice is Route 2, you've been
Yeah.
discussing Route 2. If we divert trucks down Route 2,
Mhm.
obviously it'll be very congested.
Mhm.
But when cars are added, cars will divert too. Imagine now, instead of people using interstates, now they use the secondary roads. One of the things that I got during the whole toll debate, finally at the very end, when I could not use it, was the diversion routes. And absolutely Route 2, Route 102, with their Route 1, they got Route 5, Route 116. These are 140, 146A, these are all diversion
Yeah.
routes. And people, once they see tolls coming on for trucks, trucks are gonna try to
Right.
not pay them, there's no
Right.
doubt about it. But cars will too,
Yeah,
because
this-
cars are coming.
This is going to play out very simply. Much like Rhode Island residents pay 83 cents on the Newport Bridge versus $4, they will eventually sell this as, all right, so your Rhode Island issued Easy Pass is going to only get 25 cents per gantry throughout the state. Out-of-state vehicles will get maybe $2 an axle for cars, but they will sell this to the Rhode Island people that, you know what, it's good for you. 25 cents, what's 25 cents? Well, 25 cents over the course of the day becomes $2. Over the course
and
of
it
a week
doesn't
becomes
stay at
$10.
25 cents.
For 5 cars becomes, and then you're getting your Amex statement that's attached to your state issued transponder at the end of the month, and your family just paid an extra $400 to a month to travel the state.
You as citizens ought to be speaking up. And you can get notices about when all of these meetings at the State Traffic Commission happen by going to the Secretary of State's office and signing up for email alerts. They will help you know when this is happening, so you can speak up and speak against. And you should be speaking against this. Even if it just stays at trucks, it is going to make your cost of living harder, more onerous. We can't afford that in Rhode Island. We already have an incredibly high cost of living. So go to the Secretary of State's website, look at RIDOT, and sign up for those alerts. Then you'll know when these meetings are happening, and you can get there and you can raise your voice. Because this is bad for Rhode Island, it's bad for trucking, it's bad for you.
Our intel says that we'll be heard again September 6th. So get on the horn, get on the phone, get the letter writing going.
I also am going to let you know that I'm going to post the maps, the diversion maps, on my Facebook account again, which is Representative Patricia Morgan. It's probably pretty easy to remember, but that'll give you an idea of where these 14 state highways are. Imagine them filled, not just with trucks, but with cars who are trying to avoid the tolls as well.